Ciao a tutti, Marcello here. The 90s were the golden era of Amiga games, CRPGs, and the launch of the first Sony console, the PlayStation, which revolutionized the gaming industry. While I played a wide variety of games during that time, from platforms and RTS to side-scrollers, only a selected few made a lasting impression on me. So let's take a trip down memory lane, explore some of the best turn-based games of the 90s and see where you can still find and play them. HeroQuest, a beloved tabletop game from the 80s, was adapted into an incredible Amiga and Commodore 64 RPG in 1991. Set in a Warhammer fantasy world, players can choose to play as one or more heroes, including a barbarian, mage, elf and dwarf, and guide them through 14 challenging dungeon scenarios. With secret paths, die rolls, traps, and various items, HeroQuest provides an exciting and immersive gameplay experience. Released by Gremlin Graphics, the digital adaptation of HeroQuest has stood the test of time and remains popular among gamers today. Fortunately, the game is still accessible through various online sources, including Games Nostalgia, which offers downloads of both the Amiga and DOS versions. Whether you are a long-time fan of the original tabletop game or a newcomer to the HeroQuest universe, give the game a try. Sid Meier's Civilization, developed by Firaxis Games and designed by legendary game designer Sid Meier, the Civilization series is one of the most iconic and enduring strategy game franchises in gaming history. The original Civilization game was released in 1991, setting the standards for turn-based strategy games. In Civilization, players start with a single city and guide their civilization through the ages, researching new technologies, founding new cities, and building a powerful empire. The series continued to evolve throughout the 90s with the release of Civilization II in 1996, which introduces new features like multiplayer and an updated tech tree. Civilization II also improved the graphics and user interface, making the game more accessible to a broader audience. Despite the evolution of the series, one thing has remained constant: the addictive one more turn gameplay that keeps players coming back for more. With its step strategic gameplay, immersive historical setting and endless replayability, Sid Meier's Civilization is a must-play series for any strategy game fan. Look for it on Abandonware. My baptism to the Space Crusade series was through the second game, The Voyage Beyond, which I played on floppy disks. I don't recall all the details, but the feeling of moving my units through grid-based corridors while facing unknown dangers was thrilling. The Space Crusade series began in 1991 with the release of the first game on Amiga, Commodore 64 and Atari ST by Gremlin Graphics, a major player in the gaming industry at that time. In this tactical game, players take on the role of space marines, including Blood Angels, Imperial Fist, and others, and explore dungeons with either a top-down or isometric view. 2 years later, Gremlin Graphics released the sequel, Space Crusade: The Voyage Beyond, which introduced new game mechanics, levels, monsters, and higher difficulty levels. The game can be enjoyed as a standalone experience or a continuation of the series. Fortunately, both games can be accessed through Games Nostalgia, allowing players to relive the excitement and adventure of these classic turn-based strategy games. Memories of playing UFO Enemy Unknown with my cousin are etched in my mind. We had a blast naming our soldiers after friends and family members and eagerly awaited completing research to unlock new game features. These unique feelings of excitement and joy remain with me to this day. UFO Enemy Unknown was developed by Julian Gollop in 1993 as a spiritual successor to Laser Squad, another tactical game he had created. Players take on the role of XCOM, a secret organization formed by the world's strongest nations to fight an unknown alien threat. The game's turn-based tactical missions involve building and managing bases, taking down UFOs, and investigating crash sites. After the first game's success, Terror from the Deep was released in 1995. This time, the alien menace emerged from the depths of the sea, and players faced even more challenging missions. While still employing the same formula as the first game, Terror from the Deep added deep sea tactical missions, special missions, and overall higher difficulty level. Both games can be found on Steam and GOG, allowing players to relive the excitement and strategy of these classic turn-based strategy games. Get ready for an epic space adventure with Reunion. Even though it's not technically turn-based, this game's incredible depth and impact on me have landed it on my must playlist. In Reunion, players will face a constant barrage of choices, from selecting their advisors and carrying out vital research to exploring new solar systems and building on uncharted planets. All while racing against the clock as a menacing alien force hurtles towards us, destroying everything in its path. To overcome this daunting challenge, players must forge alliances with other civilizations, exchange crucial knowledge, and upgrade their fleet to combat the impending threat. And let me tell you, this game isn't for the faint of heart. The unique level of challenge is sure to keep players on their toes, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I've never been able to beat it. But even if you can conquer the ultimate space challenge, Reunion is a true gem that deserves to be played and appreciated. And the best part, you can easily access the DOS version through the Abandonware website. The concept of worms battling it out with absurd weapons may sound crazy, but it proved to be a huge hit among gamers. I have fun memories of playing worms with my cousin on PC, spending entire days engaging in battles. One of my favorite moves was to burrow underground with a drill and launch unconventional weapons at my opponents. The first iteration of Worms was released by Team 17 for the Amiga in 1995. It featured 2 or more teams of Worms battling it out on 2D maps, with a vast selection of weapons and tactical items at their disposal. Players had to consider the wind, angle and power while launching their attacks, adding a layer of strategy to the gameplay. It was always amusing to watch a banana bomb to get blown back toward the launcher due to the wind. Worm's success led to its adaptation for other platforms, spawning numerous sequels. It remains one of my all-time favorite. If you're interested in playing Worms, you can find it on Steam. What to say, a pearl, a gem, a timeless JRPG classic anyone should experience once in their life. Chrono Trigger is a classic Japanese role-playing game originally released in 1995 for Super Nintendo. The game was developed by an all-star team of RPG veterans, including creator of Final Fantasy series, the creator of the Dragon Quest series, and Akira Toriyama, creator of the Dragon Ball manga. The game follows the story of a young boy named Chrono who travels through time to save the world from destruction. Along the way, he meets a diverse cast of characters, including a princess from the Middle Ages, a robot from the future, and a frog knight. The game's unique time travel mechanics allow players to explore different eras, interact with historical figures, and even alter the course of history. Chrono Trigger is widely regarded as one of the greatest RPGs of all time and is known for its memorable characters, beautiful graphics, and innovative gameplay. The game features a non-linear story with multiple endings, encouraging players to explore and experiment with different choices and paths. It also boasts an iconic soundtrack composed by Yasunori Mitsuda and Nobu Uematsu. Over the years, Chrono Trigger has been ported to various platforms including PC, PlayStation, Nintendo DS and mobile devices. It has also inspired numerous sequels, spin-offs and fan works, cementing its place as a beloved classic in gaming history. Chaos Overlords may not be as well known as some of the other turn-based strategy games of the 90s, but it is definitely worth mentioning. Developed by Stickman Games and published by New World Computing in 1996, Chaos Overlords is a cyberpunk themed game that puts players in control of a mercenary gang fighting for control of an 8x8 grid city. While the game's premise is simple, its multiplayer mode is where it really shines. Players compete to control sectors, gain income, and equip their mercenaries with the best weapons, armor, and accessories. It's a game that rewards strategic thinking and careful planning. If you haven't heard of Chaos Overlords before, it's worth checking out. And for those who played it before, it might be time to revisit the underrated gem. You can still purchase the game on GOG, and stay tuned for some upcoming gameplay videos on my YouTube channel. Final Fantasy VII is a groundbreaking RPG developed by Square and released on PlayStation in 1997, with subsequent releases on Switch, PS4, PC and Xbox One. The game features an engaging storyline that follows protagonist Cloud Strife and his comrades as they battle the evil corporation Shinra. In addition to its compelling plot, Final Fantasy VII introduced many of the non-standard features of JRPGs, such as side quests, secret characters to unlock, and the use of summons. All of these elements are expertly complemented by a memorable soundtrack, making Final Fantasy VII one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. On Steam, I remember having to sneak in some playtime with Final Fantasy Tactics whenever my brother wasn't home, but those stolen minutes and hours were the best spent. Developed by Square in Japan and released on PlayStation in 1997, 1 year later in the United States, Final Fantasy Tactics was the first tactical game in the Final Fantasy franchise. With an intriguing storyline and awesome turn-based battles guided by a complex and satisfying job system, Final Fantasy Tactics set a high standard for the genre. I've talked about games like Final Fantasy Tactics a lot in my videos and articles because over the year the game has become a reference and a source of inspiration for the genre. Although it misses a true successor besides a port on PSP called Final Fantasy Tactics The War of the Lion and a GBA spin-off called Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, it remains a beloved classic. The only way to get it now is by exploring online stores. War never changes, but the way it's portrayed in RPGs can. Fallout and Fallout 2 are perfect examples of this. Developed by Interplay in 1997 and 1998, these games introduced players to a post-apocalyptic world unlike anything seen before. The special system used to develop characters was groundbreaking and allowed players to tailor their experience to their liking. In 2001, a third game, Fallout Tactics Brotherhood of Steel, was released, focusing on tactical combat. The Fallout games occur in a world ravaged by nuclear war, where the hero is a survivor of Vault 13. The main objective is to find a water chip to help the people of the Vault survive. Equipped with a Pip-Boy 2000, a handy device for managing quests and maps, the hero must navigate through the harsh environment of South California, encountering mutants, marauders, and various creatures. Along the way are recruitable friends such as the iconic dog Meat. Fallout 2 continues the story and adds new items and equipment to use, as well as improved party management. These games have become classics, influencing RPGs to this day. Both Fallout and Fallout 2 can be found on Steam and GOG. Suikoden is a series of role-playing video games developed by Konami. The series is known for its large cast of characters, epic storyline and ability to recruit up to 108 playable characters in each game. The second chapter in the series, Suikoden II, was released in 1998 and it still stands out as one of the best RPGs ever made. Set in a world where war looms large, Suikoden II follows the story of two friends who find themselves on opposite sides of a conflict that threatens to tear their homeland apart. With turn-based combat and the ability to recruit up to 108 characters for your army, Suikoden II offers plenty of strategic depth and things to discover. But what really sets Suikoden II apart is its castle building mechanic. As you recruit more characters to your army, you'll also unlock new parts of your headquarters and be able to develop it into a bustling hub of activity. And with memorable characters and an epic story that spans kingdoms and generations, Suikoden II is an RPG classic that's not to be missed. Look for it inside online store, but be careful to the price. Video games can have a powerful impact on players, leaving an unforgettable impression that stays with them long after the game is over. Xenogears is one such game that touched me deeply. This emotional charged JRPG adventure, featuring an incredible soundtrack, left an indelible mark on my soul. Initially released in 1998 by Squaresoft for the Sony PlayStation, Xenogears takes players on a journey through a war-torn land as they control Fei Fong Wong and uncover the hero's past. The game's combat system is particularly noteworthy, featuring battles on foot and in giant mechs, complete with a deep combo system and interludes that are enhanced by the stunning musical score. Although Xenosaga and Xenoblades are often considered to be spiritual successors to Xenogears, as they share the same creator, they are far from capturing the same magic as the original game. While Xenogears was once available through the PlayStation Network, it can now only be found in online stores. I would love to see a remake or even a sequel to this unforgettable game. The Heroes of Might and Magic series is a beloved franchise that has entertained gamers for over 2 decades. Developed by New World Computing, the series has had its ups and downs, but it remains a classic in the turn-based strategy genre. While all the games in the series have their strengths, the third chapter stands out as probably the best. Released in 1999, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 received critical acclaim for its polished gameplay, beautiful graphics, and addictive mechanics. In Heroes of Might and Magic 3, players take on the role of a hero who must build an army, explore the world, and conquer enemy territories. The game's turn-based combat system is easy to learn but challenging to master, and there are dozens of units to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. The game's success can be attributed to its addictive gameplay, colorful graphics, and immersive soundtrack. It's a game that it's easy to pick up and play but difficult to put down. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 has stood the test of time and continues to have a dedicated fanbase to this day. Players worldwide create new content for the game, and many popular streamers still choose New World Computing's strategy title for their live sessions. Thanks to its enduring popularity, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is easily accessible today through Steam, where you can purchase the HD edition of the game. In Jagged Alliance 2, players assume the role of a rebel force fighting against Adriana Reitman in the HeroQuest state. The game features a catalog called AIM, with the best mercenaries from around the world. Players can select which ones to hire or even create a custom character from scratch. The game also includes a strategic layer where players must decide where to move next and which towns to conquer. Once a town is conquered, nearby mines can be used to gain an income to spend on better mercenaries and weapons, and to train a local militia to defend against enemy attacks. In turn-based tactical missions, players must defeat enemy forces in each town. Each mission has multiple approaches, ranging from attacking at night to trying a stealth approach when possible. It is crucial to consider melee and ranged skills, explosive and mechanical expertise, and much more when planning your approach. Once a town is liberated, players can explore it and interact with NPCs and items to unlock new content and maybe even gain new allies. Jagged Alliance 2 is undoubtedly one of the best turn-based RPGs ever made. Although I struggled with the first game, the sequel captured my heart and provided hours of gameplay enjoyment. Now it can be found on Steam and GOG. Okay, this video ends here. I probably missed some worth game, but let me know it in the comments below. Remember to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and also consider supporting me through all my pages. Wish you the best. Ciao!